So we just had a panel on the regulator and how, as a sector, we can use technology to stay ahead of the regulator. We had a really interesting presentation from an executive director, Alison from Raven, and she talked us through the journey they've been on. They've just got a C1, G1, V2, and particularly the C1 journey. It's a new piece of regulation. She really talked about the C1 was about having the basics right, being really open about where your gaps were and having a vision for the future, and that's what got them the grade. The panel then evolved to talk about, well, if that's the hygiene factor at this moment, where should we be going? We entered a really interesting conversation around how we should be better sharing data, how we should expect more data-led regulation, so actually having to hand over our data sets almost real time into the regulator to understand our performance, which is very common in other sectors, and was sort of challenged by Matthew Gardner that will be coming on our way soon. We had a really interesting story from Leanne from AWS, who talked about how the NHS was coming together, how it was using data platforms to come together proactively, to share, to work collectively, and to design services around the patient rather than perhaps around the procedure.